and welcome to Algebra 1. Today you will learn how to simplify and combining radicals, like the example above that says square root of 24 minus 3 times square root of 12. Let's get started. Alright, let's first start by simplifying like radicals. So here, for an example, we have 6 square root of 11 plus 9 square root of 11. These are called like radicals because they both are square roots of the same number. So what we can do then, we can factor out the square root of 11 like this, and then multiply with what's left in the inside, which is 6 plus 9. 6 plus 9 is 15. And then that is multiplied with the square root of 11. And that is the answer. Alright, I hope you followed along. Otherwise, repeat it. Let's do another example of the same kind. So here, let's say we have square root of 3 minus 5 square root of 3. Again, they are square roots of the same numbers, so then we can factor it out, square root of 3. And then times what's left inside, which is then 1 minus 5. This is then square root of 3 times 1 minus 5 is negative 4. But usually we write the number before, so we finish the answer by writing negative 4 times square root of 3. Alright, so that is the answer for that problem. Okay, again, repeat if you needed to follow along. Alright, next, let's simplify unlike radicals. This is when the number under the square root signs are not the same. But we can do that anyway, hopefully. Okay, so let's see. Let's here have 5 square root of 3 minus square root of 12. So the goal is to find the square root of 3 within the 12. So we then have again 5 square root of 3 minus square root sign. And you know that we have 2 times 6 is 12, but we want 3 times 4, which is also 12, because then we have the square root of 3 there inside. So then we have 5 square root of 3 minus, and these can be separated. So we have square root of 4 times square root of 3, and then we can factor out the square root of 3, and then inside we then have 5 minus square root of 4. But as you probably know, square root of 4 is 2, so we then have square root of 3 parenthesis 5 minus 2, and 5 minus 2 is 3. So then the answer is 3 square root of 3. Awesome. Alrighty, let's move along. So why don't you try a problem now? I'm going to write a problem of unlike radicals. So I'm going to write 4 square root of 7 plus 2 square root of 28. So the goal is first to see if you have a 7 within 28. Are there 2 numbers to multiply together where one of them is a 7? Can you think of one? Well, remember we have 4 times 7. Okay, and then they can be split up till 2 radicals, radical square root of 4 and square root of 7, and then you factor out the 7. Alright, go ahead, you can do it. Okay, alright, move on to the next example. This is about distributing radicals. We will be multiplying them instead of separate them out. Okay, let's go. Okay, so here let's have square root of 10 times, so parenthesis, I would do square root of 6 plus 3, okay, and then you distribute the square root of 10 by multiplying by each of them inside the parentheses. So then we have square root of 10 times square root of 6 plus square root of 10 times 3. All right? So that is, then you can put 10 and 6 within one, multiply them, and we have 60. And then plus 3 square root of 10. Okay, we actually are going to leave the 3 square root of 10 as it is. Okay, so we need to separate this into different numbers. So this can actually be 4 times 15. So the goal is to find a number we can take a square root of. Okay, so here we have a 4, which we can take the square root of, which is then 2. So we have 2 times square root of 15 plus 3 square root of 10. And that is the answer for this one. All right, let's do another one when we have 2 parentheses with 2 terms each. Okay, so let's say we have first the parentheses, and inside here we have a square root of 6 minus 2 square root of 3, close the parenthesis, then times another here, square root of 6 plus square root of 3, and close the parenthesis. Now this here you just need to do FOIL. Remember, FOIL is first multiplied, and then the outer is multiplied, the inner multiplies, and the last multiplied. So the first 2 terms is then 6 times 6 under the square root sign, and the outer is then square root 6 times 3. The inner is then negative 2 times square root of 3 times 6, and the outer is then negative 2 times square root of 3 times 3. All right, so let's simplify this little puppy here. So the first one, we have a square root of 6 squared. There we go, plus, and 6 times 3 is 18, so this is square root of 18, and then minus square root of 18, and then minus 2 times square root of 3 squared. And as you know, taking the square root of a square leaves the base. So this is 6 minus 2 times 3, and then plus square root of 18 minus 2 of the square root of 18 leaves minus 1 square root of 18. Okay, and here we have 2 times 3 is 6, so 6 minus 6 is 0. So the answer is just negative square root of 18. Leaves square root of 9 times 2, which is 3 square root of 2, because square root of 9 is 3. All right, so the goal is to look for a combination of multiplications so you can get those square roots. All right, okay, I'm going to write an example for you to try. So we will do square root of 11 minus 2, all that squared. So we have 2 of these multiplied. So basically you have that square root of 11 minus 2 times square root of 11 minus 2. All right. So here you just do FOIL again then. The first terms plus the outer terms, plus the inner terms, plus the last terms. All right, and then you combine them. You can do it. Hopefully this was helpful. I'm sure you did a great job, and I see you next time. Take care.